respected guest of the day, Mr. Philip Varughese, our SR Nair sir, National Council member, Nirmala Lilly ma'am, National Council member, our treasurer Arvind Akshan sir, other office bearers and managing committee members, dear ISTD members, guests, invitees, a very good evening to you all. We are having another evening lecture today on cyber security. We titled it as Cyber Warfare and Digital Battlefield, Are We Ready? A very interesting topic, a topic which is very current and relevant. We all know there have been major advances in communication, computing, and display technologies. In academics, we used to say ICT, Information Communication Technologies. Knowingly or unknowingly, we all are part and parcel of this cyber world. We may use it. We have subscribed. We have been dragged into in any way. We all are part and parcel of the cyber world. I know many people, many of my friends who are resistant to use internet banking, Facebook, online, even mobile wallets, because they are afraid of getting hacked their numbers or accounts. So people, though many are part of cyber world, many people are living in cyber world with a lot of anxiety, tension, and insecurity. When we say digital security, it is the collective term that describes the resources employed to protect our online identity, data, and other assets. These tools include web services, antivirus software, smartphones, SIM cards, biometrics, and secured personal devices. But we all are exposed to these things. We all are using different electronic gadgets and part and parcel of this cyber world. But still, we cannot live without anxiety, tension, because of a lot of threats that we anticipate in cyber world. So the topic cyber security is very relevant and very current today. With the COVID-19 pandemic bringing increased importance to agility of operations and services, digital initiatives across an array of sectors have been key in facilitating innovation. But no digital transformation strategy can be properly successful without the right security in place. So information security is to be integrated into the design and planning stages of digital initiatives throughout. This can foster a better working relationship so that when initiatives are launched, they already have the security features required to get the green light. So this is the context in which we all are going to listen today's talk by our beloved Philip Varughese. So Mr. Philip Varughese is Vice President and Lead Cyber Defense Security and Resilience at Accenture Technology. And since SR Nair sir will introduce him in detail, I'm not going into his profile details. So on behalf of ISTD Kochi chapter and everyone present here, I formally welcome Mr. Philip Varughese Vairakunnil to this August occasion to deliver his evening lecture. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
I also welcome Sri SR Nair, our past chairman and National Council member, Nirmala Lilly ma'am, our past chairperson and National Council member, and our treasurer Arvind Akshan sir, other office bearers who are present with us. I also welcome all life members and other members. I also welcome all guests and members from other chapters who have joined with us for listening this lecture on cyber warfare and digital battlefield. Are we ready? With these few words, I conclude my introductory remarks and I hand over to SR Nair sir for moderating the session. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I would be introducing our speaker, post which he would be doing his presentation. And while he is doing his presentation, in case you have any questions or queries, you may send it by chat. I would, at the end of it, I would take questions from there, recognize you, as well as announce you and ask your questions on your behalf to the speaker. Once the moderation of the moderating would be actually done by me after the presentations. Let me now introduce Mr. Philip Varughese Vairakunnil. Okay. Mr. Philip Varughese is an industry-recognized analytics and artificial intelligence veteran, entrepreneur, thought leader and a visionary digital transformation and innovation executive. Currently, he serves as the vice president and global lead of cyber defense and applied intelligence at Accenture Technology. Prior to this current role, he was co-founder and CEO of Datum Informatics Private Limited, a big data analytics and artificial intelligence firm with a deep focus into cognitive decision systems using AI, that is artificial intelligence, and machine learning on unstructured and distributed data. Phil brings around 17 plus years of rich and extensive cross-functional experience and expertise in the field of analytics, AI, cyber intelligence, future living systems, next-gen cyber defense, digital transformation, disruptive innovation, and cognitive decision systems. He is an invited keynote speaker in more than 400 national and international conferences and leading academia. Philip has handled key business management roles in IBM, CSS Corporation, and Socratic Learning Incorporated at domestic and international level. Mr. Philip is a master's in mathematics, a master of philosophy in mathematics, and also a holder of a computer diploma application. Without much ado, I would hand over to Mr. Philip Varughese. So please start your session with by taking hold of the presentation as well. Thank you very much. All the very best. Let's listen to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening to one and all join the session today. And thank you again for taking time out and joining the session today evening. I'm just sharing my screen, and once you can confirm that you can see the screen, I will start off. Thank you.
That's the screen is okay. Would we be able to meet you instead of seeing a photograph, or you want to keep it that way?
I'm just broadcasting, and I'm playing a bit of videos as well. So
Okay, fine. So you're trying to save the space. Fine. Okay, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
So thank you for the wonderful introduction and the opportunity to all of you. Great pleasure to be here and happy to share my knowledge with all of you. Just before I start, I just want to put a disclaimer stating that though I currently work with Accenture, in this today's presentation, you are going to see a lot of examples, case studies, facts and figures, which I collected over a period of time based on my experience, knowledge, as well as the research I do in this space. All this information is available in the public domain, and that is nothing to do with any of my current or past organization, what I'm presenting here today. Okay. Yeah, you heard about me. I love sharing my knowledge because especially on this topic, cyber and AI, I love sharing my knowledge and experience with many forums because this is the need of the hour. Whether we are working or and engaging in this field, irrespective of the fact that it is all relevant for us, and that is why I am more than keen to share my knowledge with everyone who is coming across. So in today's session, we have about another 40-45 minutes. I'm just going to share a few things, though cyber is a big ocean out there. And I would like to connect it with each one of you and try to help you understand the importance of this. So we're going to see why cyber is now important from a global perspective, from an ever-changing threat landscape, how and why it is relevant in a connected world, especially from the cyber threats and risk perspective. What kind of outlook for the future crimes from the traditional nature of the crimes like a vehicle theft or employment fraud or financial crimes, how that is going to be in the future led by cyber crimes, right? The fourth one, what would be a future war looking like? If there is a World War III, what it would be looking like? And the fifth one, how we should be really prepared and ready for that kind of cyber warfare world, right? You know, from a preparedness perspective. So these are the 5 themes I would like to present today with a lot of examples. I would try to focus on a lot of examples rather than very technical terminologies and technical concepts, but I would like to share all these areas with more of examples. We can spend a few minutes at the end of the session for having question and answer. Ideally, this session would require at least 90 minutes just to show you a lot of examples, but I'll try to consolidate in a 40-45 minute session so that you will get a more time to have a certain question and answer as well. Now, you know that in a traditional crime management, you know what kind of crimes are there, what kind of threats are there. Now, obviously, you have your policing framework available. You have your penal codes designed to manage those crimes. So you know the threats, you know the crimes in a traditional world. So you have the laws and regulations available to manage your known threats and crimes. When it is coming to cyber, it is the very similar way. So earlier you knew what are the threats out there, you know what to be done. If there is a virus coming, you know there is an antivirus. You need to really defend against those viruses. Slowly that situation is changing. Now earlier, security is a topic that is mostly given to the IT team. Okay, it is a technology professional's job. Security is a technical task I don't have anything to do with, and I'm least bothered, and it is not affecting me. So I don't care, because there is a non way of managing security threats. So it is already taken care by an IT team. But slowly that perspective is changing. Slowly that scenario is changing because of the landscape is changing in an exponential way. Now, there are so many threats, additional threats are coming, but you don't know how to really defend against them. That is the scenario now. If you look at that, is even furthermore evolving with the new age technologies like AI, blockchain, quantum computing, extended reality, and many more. You're going to even face unknown threats, and you don't even know how to really defend against those unknown threats. So we are now living in the third stage. We are living in a world which is where we are having a lot of unknown threats, and we don't even know how to really defend against this. And this is not just only relevant for a larger corporate or a company or a government. This is even coming to our own homes. And that's what we are going to see in the next coming minutes. How each one of us, from our institution's point of view, from our corporate point of view, from our nation's point of view, from our government's point of view, from our society point of view, from our own individual point of view, from our own family and home's point of view, how this is going to be important and relevant. That's what we are going to see in the next coming minutes. Okay. Now, cyber attacks and risk. Even now, many of us may be having a thought why I should be thinking about it. It is not my domain. It is not my area. It is not relevant to me. Why do I need to care? That is what the question in general typically will pass through many of the people's mind when they're talking, when they're listening about or hearing about cybersecurity. But imagine a situation when all of us wake up in the morning. The first thing we do even before brushing is actually checking our smartphones, right? The messages, the emails, the newses, and so on. Imagine that when you are waking up, when you are turning on your smartphone or when you're turning on your laptop, if you see a screenshot like this, what would be your reaction? We are the guardians of peace. You are hacked. If in your mobile, you're not able to make calls, you're not able to access your SMS, WhatsApp, you're not able to open your emails, you're completely locked. Similar way in your laptop also. What will be your reaction? You're completely locked. You cannot operate your device. This is exactly what happened a few years back to Sony Corporation. The entire Sony Corporation network being hacked, and majority of their sensitive data being hacked and breached by a cyber criminal group. They were not able to log into their systems. None of their employees across the world. Their sensitive emails got leaked. Their payroll information got leaked. Now Sony got completely hijacked and hacked. The Sony Corporation eventually brought in a lot of intelligence agencies like CIA, FBI, Obama, Bush. Everyone came into picture, but still they couldn't really recover from this attack by the cyber criminals. And cyber criminals, these criminal groups, they were putting a certain demands to Sony Corporation. Eventually, Sony Corporation had to agree to the demands set by the cyber criminals and then let that happen. Because of this attack, Sony chair Ami Pascal, the CEO of the company, had to resign from Sony Corporation. The share value of the company has dropped like anything. Sony has lost a lot of movies, scripts, stories about so much of programs leaked to the public. That is what happened to Sony Corporation, such a big company, a few years back, about 6-7 years back. This is exactly what the screenshot that they saw when somebody log into their systems. This is one of the attacks. There are thousands of similar attacks are happening globally, right? Every 39 seconds, there are 2,224 average attacks are happening. That means in a minute, there are 3,000 average target attacks are happening like the Sony Corporation. across the globe. Even we may be under attack right now, but we don't know. So 39 seconds or in a minute, 3,000 target attacks. That is the minimum average attacks happening across the globe in a day, right? Every minute. Now, it is not only just a Sony corporation. Many larger organizations were attacked and breached. Okay, Marriott is a big hotel chain. They got breached. Uber is a ride-hailing, digital app company. They got breached. Microsoft is a big technology company. They got breached. eBay is an e-commerce, digital commerce or retail company. They got breached. If you look at all these nature of the breaches, millions of consumers' data got stolen after this breach. That is what the nature of this breach. Now, not only these companies, Target is an actual retail company. They got breached. Equifax is a credit rating and financial services organization. They got breached. LinkedIn is a social networking company. They got breached. And even a pornographic company like portal like Adult Front Finder got breached. So nobody is safe. Everyone, irrespective of the industry that you belong to, irrespective of the domain you are into, irrespective of the region that you are into, you are being a target for cyber attack. And World Economic Forum is considering cyber attack is one of the top 5 risks to the global stability today. And we are going to see why. Okay, this is based on a huge number of research done by World Economic Forum. Now, if you look at the US government, based on the research performed by Defense News Leadership Poll, the biggest threat the US government is facing today is cyber warfare, which is 45%. Next comes terrorism. China is just 14%. The North Korea is not even 1% threat to the US. And that is why you see, whenever there is a tension between North Korea and the US coming, it is not really very heavy. But cyber warfare is a big threat to the US nation based on the research. I'm going to show you why with a lot of examples. Now, I want to play a very small video why World Economic Forum is considering cyber risk is one of the top 5 global stability risks today. Just enjoy this video. It's a 2-minute, I think 1-minute video. Now, in this video, you have seen, many examples where cyber attacks happen to even countries like Ukraine. Electricity grids in a few cities inside Ukraine got attacked, and there were power cuts for many hours and days. Imagine that kind of a situation happening to us, and it's already happening. I'm going to show you. What happens if you don't have electricity for 48 hours or 72 hours? Our telecom towers will die and will not be able to communicate. Flights will not be able to land, and people in the hospitals will die in the ICUs because there is no power. Imagine that kind of a situation happening when the electricity grid of a nation is being attacked and shut down. And this is happening multiple places, multiple times. Ukraine and US are just 2 examples. In Ukraine multiple times, in US multiple times. Critical infrastructure are being targeted by these kind of cyber criminals and criminal groups. Now, this is the context we are going to spend the rest of the minutes. Now, I'd like to really, all of you, think like a criminal, not act like a criminal, but just imagine like a criminal, because you'll be able to connect a lot of things what I'm saying. Just create your imaginations like a criminal mindset. Never act like that, but just think, right? Or just create your mindset. Sweden undergone a massive cyber attack a few years back. Sweden lost all of its data, including their military secrets, people's passport, criminal records, government's mission critical sensitive data, citizens' data, health data, election data, everything got leaked. Now, in the US on the other side, recently a cyber criminal tried to really attack the water supply in Florida city and tried to poison the water in the water line. Imagine what kind of a dangerous activity that it is. This guy is was trying to really access the water system inside the Florida city and then to pump a dangerous chemical to the water supply, where this guy is sitting somewhere other part of the world through the cyber, right? So trying to poison the water supply in a city, in a country like US. You see a lot of drones flying all over us now. All these are smart drones. Now there are attempts where these smart drones are being used to really launch bombs, and there are already cases already registered. People are arrested where people use cyber devices to or smart devices to do crimes, cyber-led crimes. If you are having a smart drone, if you are not securing it properly, somebody else can hijack your hijack your own drone and can launch an attack, and that attack will be in your name. And there are cases where people already try to really put a bomb into the Pentagon. I'm going to come to that. So you may use your own drone for good things, maybe supplying food and medicines during a pandemic like this, right? Or you may be using your drone for surveillance. The same drone, if it is being hacked by a cyber criminal, what happens? I just want to play a small video just to show you how it can even come to us.
This right here is how I walk my dog. I get my favorite beer, I get my quadcopter, and I just sit back and relax. Enjoy the show. Hey, looking good, Biscuit. All right, let's get some exercise. Pick up the pace. Yeah, Biscuit. What the hell? Crap. What the? Oh. No, 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 no. Oh. Oh my lord. Biscuit! Biscuit! Biscuit!
See, this is exactly what can happen. Somebody can hijack your smart drone sitting some other part of the country or even some other part of the world and hijack and kidnap your own things, your own babies. Your drone can be used by a cyber criminal for smuggling drugs or smuggling weapons. So this is where it can be dangerous. Now, if you look at the new age planes, the unmanned aerial vehicles, these are also smart. These are all connected to cyber. Now imagine an F-16 flight which is loaded with a nuclear payload. If that is getting breached by a cyber criminal, what can happen? They'll decide where this nuclear bomb has to be dropped into. There are already attempts happening where the Capitol and the Pentagon was targeted to hit with a bomb. A person was already accused and arrested. So these are things which are getting normal. In India, I think you might have heard about that in last year, August, there was a big power cut happen, I think in October, power cut happened. And it is believed that the electricity grid was hacked by a cyber criminal, even in India. So any critical infrastructure, anything that is getting connected, whether it is a flight, whether it is a drone, whether it is an electricity grid, doesn't matter. All these things are target for cyber criminals to launch attacks. Now, these kind of attacks really cause a huge legal liability for companies. It will completely disrupt the whole production of the company. The company share value can be significantly going down if there is a breach. Company's brand value can go down, reputation can be damaged, people's lives can be lost, and even there could be a huge financial loss. These are some of the damages that can be caused by a cyber attack. Now, if you look at the nature of the crimes about 10-15 years back, many cyber attacks were launched. They were trying to breach the data. They wanted to really steal the data and sell the data to various people who wanted to buy this data. That was a motive. That was a target why people were launching cyber attacks a few years back. Slowly, that nature is getting changed. Now you see that attack is not only just to breach the data, but also to disrupt your operations. And today it has evolved to really completely destruct your operations, not only just disrupt. And that is how the motivations are changing ever, and the damages are changing also accordingly. Now, the future crimes, any crime in the future would be or mostly led by cyber. So we are going to see cyber crimes or cyber-led crimes in the future. And that is where the world is heading to. Now, with that as a context, now all of us have to think that it is not about if I am attacked, let me see at that point of time. I think we should change that mindset. It's all about I am definitely a target because there are 3,000 target attacks are happening every minute in a day. So definitely I might be a target and I need to do everything what I need to do to be protected. So it's all about when I am going to be attacked. So this is relevant for me, you, anybody and everyone for that matter. Now, when we look at the unfortunate part of this, we don't even know that whether somebody is already attacking us, whether it's an organization or a country. Typically, it takes about 206 days for a company or for an organization or even a person to even realize that for the last 200 days, somebody was already attacking them and they were under the breach. It takes nearly a year to really fix different motivations. Somebody will attack you just to spy you. They'll not take your data, they'll not disrupt, they'll not destroy, but they'll just spy you. Some people will take the data from you and then sell it for the monetary benefit. So some people spying, some people make the monetary benefit. Some people wanted to really prove an ideology, hacktivism. If the government is introducing a new regulation, some people are against it. They will come and show their revenge against that new framework or regulation or a policy by hacking certain organizations or infrastructure. In some cases, nation states are there. That means a country government will be sponsoring the attacks against other countries. Nation state sponsored attacks. Sometimes even competition. Company A may launch a attack against company B just to kill their competition or disrupt the competition. A wrong kind of competition. So there are many motivations why there is a cyber attack happens. Now, how they launch the cyber attacks? There are professional cyber criminals and criminal groups out there. There are syndicate gangs, organized groups are there. There are sponsored programs are there. As I mentioned, hacktivists are there. There are targeted threat camps, which is again sponsored by many groups or countries are there. And even not only external people are going to attack you, sometimes there will be people inside your organization are also cyber criminals. We don't know. We call it as insider threats. So you may have your own people leaking your own data. Edward Snowden, I think if you know, was an insider threat to the US government. So there are many people like that. So now you know that anything and everything we do today, there is a bit of AI there, artificial intelligence is there, a bit of robotics is there, a bit of automation is there, a bit of smartness is there. Now, because of all these intelligent systems out there, smart and connected and living systems where we are engaging today, the attack surface is really increasing. The attack surface means the exposure to get attacked is getting increased. AI on one side, it is doing a lot of wonderful work, but at the same time, it is creating a double-edged sword. Because on the other side, it is very much vulnerable for cyber attacks. IDC, which is an international research company, they predicted that there are about more than 50 billion connected devices going to be there by 2025. 50 billion connected devices. Now, anything and everything which is getting connected is a door for a cyber criminal. That means All these 50 billion entry points or connected devices are potential entry points for attackers to come and attack you. We are going to see what are some of the entry points potentially relevant to us as well. Now you see smart cars, autonomous cars, driverless cars. It's all coming to the roads today. These cars are not driven by drivers. It's all driven intelligent way by AI systems in the background. It has a connected camera, connected sensors, connected lights, connected tires, connected steerings, connected infotainment systems, and so on. Now, if this car is getting breached, somebody sitting some part of the world will be able to decide where this car has to be driven into. In a red signal, it can cross the road. When it is supposed to take left, somebody can control the car to take right. When it's supposed to apply the brake, the car can be controlled to increase the speed by a cyber criminal, and you'll be locked inside. And that can be a potential threat to these cars. And this is already happening. The Tesla Model X car, there is a vulnerability in the Bluetooth which can be exploited and can be hijacked. Somebody can steal this Tesla car in 3 minutes. I am not playing this video because we don't have time. We are already running late. So there is a video available. You can see it in the YouTube. The Tesla X car could be breached in 3 minutes and it can be driven away in 3 minutes. Tesla is a multi-million-dollar car, right? See how it can be breached. Now, China is developing smart roads, not the regular roads, smart roads, which the road that is so intelligent, which can be talking to these driverless cars. Now, imagine these smart roads also can be hacked. Now, instead of showing a red signal, based on the traffic, somebody can control what kind of signal it has to be on the traffic signal. So anything and everything which is getting smart is also a target device. Now, when it is coming to our own home, today we are living in smart homes where we have a smart TV, smart refrigerator, smart vacuum cleaner, smart fan, smart light. Everything is smart. Everything is connected to internet and everything can be remotely controlled and remotely managed. Now, potentially every of this device can be breached. If you're surprised, I just want to play a small video. Just want to show you how this smart home's running, and then I'll show you examples where the smart devices are getting breached.
Play jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, tandläkare at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
Så ska vi sätta en till.
Ja. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get over the floor. Open the door.
Wrong voice command. Error.
Hey, William. Good rock. Open door. Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
Higher.
What you're seeing is an example of a smart home. Now, because this guy was not able to talk to the smart devices properly, it didn't understand. Now imagine each of the device can be turned on or turned off or controlled by somebody sitting outside. This fire cannot be turned off when you say turn off. And when you say turn on the door, the door may not be opened because somebody else may control it. And imagine that guy can turn a fire on inside your house and completely locking you. And these are all potential threats out there, right? Now, every device, whether it is a smart TV, smart fridge, smart CCTV, can be hacked. LG HomeBot, which is a smart vacuum cleaner, which had a vulnerability discovered by Checkpoint as a security company, saying that this vulnerability could be breached by cyber criminals, and then it can turn on the camera of this vacuum cleaner and record everything what happens inside your house, inside your bedroom, in your private times, your gossip times. Everything can be recorded and sent to somebody. You not even know about this. In Kerala, I think 1.5 years back, there was an incident happened. One lady's photographs were, naked photographs were spreading all in WhatsApp and Instagrams, etc. When they put a complaint to the police department, after their investigation, they found out that the criminal is, the person who took the photograph is not a nearby or neighbor boy, but the smart TV which was kept on her bedroom, on the walls. Somebody breached the smartphone used by her husband in Dubai, and through that phone somebody was able to get access to the smart TV which was kept on the wall in her bedroom in Kerala, and without turning on the smart TV, that cyber criminal was able to turn on the camera and take the photograph of this lady when she was changing the dress. So cyber crimes, cyber security is coming to our bedrooms through a smart TV or a smart vacuum cleaner. So we are living in that world. In US, there is a CCTV camera being hacked. Ring is a big vendor for CCTV cameras. When a mother returned home, she found that her CCTV camera was breached, and some cyber criminal was able to get access to the CCTV camera and was able to talk to her small kids in her house and asking the small kids to do very bad things. Imagine that the best lock on the door cannot help you staying protected if we cannot protect our own CCTV cameras. Pacemakers. Now you know that even pacemakers are now getting smart. Abbott is a big pharma and healthcare company. Though they created smart pacemakers. Now FDA issued a warning saying that 4.65 lakh pacemakers made by Abbott has a vulnerability that can be breached by cyber criminal. What will happen if that is getting breached? A cyber criminal sitting some part of the world in some underground will be able to kill 4.65 lakh people just in a click, because he will be able to control the heartbeat of this 4.65 lakh people who are wearing this smart pacemaker inside their body. These are the risks. Anything and everything which is connected is a target for attack. Doesn't matter that whether it is a pacemaker or a smart car. Even there are news coming that even a sex toy is being hacked, and after hacking, if that sex toy has to be opened, then the person has to pay some ransom, and there is a case registered against it. So anything and everything which is getting connected can be hacked. So the cyber crimes are going to come in multiple fashions, one of which is identity fraud. People can take your name and my name or somebody else's name and act like them in an identity fraud case and then commit crimes. There are so many cases. In the interest of time, I'm not getting into details. People can use your photograph, your names, and then can create fake profiles and spread anti-national messages or violence or terrorism. This is a real example of a fake Facebook profile created by Subramanian Sami. Of Subramanian Sami, and then you see what kind of messages are being pushed. Some people can come to an organization acting like a candidate or like a plumbing mechanic or like an electrician, and they will be able to launch an attack with you will not even remember, you will not even know. Maybe coming with a pen drive and saying that I lost my resume on the way. Can you take a printout from this pen drive? When the innocent receptionist takes a printout of his resume, automatically he'll be able to place a malware or virus inside that organization, which can be really causing a big cyber attack to that organization. There can be many, many ways how social engineering and the identity frauds can be used for launching attacks. You may receive offer letters from prestigious organizations, but that may be forced. The recent example is Nidhi Razdan, received an offer from one of the universities in the US, which was really fake. So you will see a lot of smart levels of crimes. In Hindu, on another side, Rona Wilson's computer was compromised, which he was, now famous for the Bhima Koregaon case. Somebody hacked Rona Wilson's computer and placed evidences against Rona Wilson's computer, saying that Rona Wilson is the actual culprit. Imagine somebody else can remotely commit a crime and put evidences in our own laptops and mobiles saying that we are the criminals. They can position ourselves as the criminals where they really do the crimes. And this is going to be more and more with the kind of new technologies coming like AI. Now, I just want to take a small poll here. I am sure all of you have access to your chat, right? These two photographs. One of the photographs is created by AI. That means not real. Can you put male or female? Which one is not real in your chat? I'm just looking at the chat window here. Can you say which one is not real? Is it male or female? Cannot say. Female is not real. Male is not real. Male is fake. Male is fake. Female, I guess. So it's very difficult, right? Both. Female is fake. Can't. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the inputs. Interestingly, both these pictures are fake. These are not pictures of the real people. These are all created by AI. So AI can create pictures, audios, videos, which we cannot even believe that it is not real. Today, the technology has grown and people can use this technology for committing a lot of crimes. I have hundreds of examples where these technologies are being used for committing crimes. In the interest of time, I'm not getting into details of that. But I just want to say that you need to be very careful. Even I need to be careful. All of us have to be very careful when we talk about, when we engage with our online friends. When I say a friend, he or she can be a colleague, maybe a politician, maybe a bureaucrat, maybe an officer, maybe a friend, maybe a family member. We need to be double sure we are engaging with a real person. I just want to play a small video which just want to show you how precision these kind of technologies can be used to fool us.
Entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of fucked up.
So the video what you're seeing of Obama is not real. This is fake, created using a technology called deepfake with the AI capability. So that is exactly the point. So how do we really manage our own friends and families and colleagues with trusted notions? There are so many videos being created using deepfakes. And there are automated bots to create deepfake photographs and videos. There is a bot made which can be deployed on Telegram, which is already creating more than 1 lakh fake nude photographs using people's profile pictures. And there is already a case registered in India that a Noida person, and a person from Noida, lost almost 1 lakh rupees because as a ransom or as a money not to really disclose this fake nude picture created by an AI. So cyber security, cyber crimes, cyber risk are beyond our imaginations, which are going to come to us. The vendors we are engaging, the companies we work with, the contractors we are onboarding, everyone needs to have security today. Even if we are having our own organization 100% secured, but if you are partnered with a smaller company, if they have weaker security, there can be hundreds of issues. Hundreds of attacks can happen. So Russia launched another attack in Ukraine through a small financial services company called MEDOC, where that attack spread the entire across the Ukraine nation and traveled outside the Ukraine, even through shipping lines. It went even up to Los Angeles port, and it again came back to the Ukraine and even gone to Russia, and then completely disrupted an oil and gas plant in Russia as well. So once it is released, it's very difficult and very dangerous as well. So there are so many programs, so many initiatives in the cyber criminal world to really spy, to attack, to disrupt, to destruct and breach many of our organizations, governments, and even families or homes. The AI systems itself are being targeted today to poison the training data, to the poison the model. So AI is being used in cybersecurity, and today cybersecurity is also leveraging AI to launch cyber attacks. It can be, as you saw the video in the video, that how smart drones can be used against us. Cryptojacking, we are talking about cryptocurrencies and blockchains. So today, cybersecurity, one of the key challenges is how do you really prevent cryptojacking attacks? How do you really prevent deepfakes attacks? How do you really prevent machine learning poisoning? So there are hundreds of threats and risks. That's what I was telling. We don't even have visibility about the threats that is coming. Unknown threats, unknown defense. And that is the time we are living in. Today, people are coming even and offering this crimeware as a service. In the dark web, you will see not only drugs, illegal drugs or illegal weapons, illegal pornography, illegal murders and things like that happening. Not only that, in dark web, you will see even people offering these kind of services to the world. That people will give quotations to commit crimes in the dark web. So dark web is an subset of the larger internet, which is very difficult. Like an underworld in the real world, there is an underworld in the cyber, which is called dark web. In the dark web, people will give quotations to kill and eat people. Their human trafficking will be happening in the dark web. A lot of conspiracy theories are getting developed in the dark web. People will breach you and sell your data in the dark web. And that again will be used to really launch multiple attacks against you. So for example, your date of birth, your email ID, your phone number, your address, your siblings information, your company details, your current career information, all can be purchased from the dark web. And these information can be used to really launch additional attacks against you. So I saw in the TV one day in the morning, Sarah Joseph, the writer, her cousin, I think, lost 25 lakh rupees just like that. How? Somebody breached his bank account and he lost money. How? People are buying your data to launch subsequent attack against you. There are even menu cards available in the dark web for cyber criminals, right? So they help you to launch attacks. They're having smart cards or menu cards. And some people even coming into the YouTube and advertise themselves that they will launch attacks for you. So that is how the world is there out there. It's not that easy. So I'm just going slightly faster. And what you're looking at right now are some of the well-known criminal groups in the respective regions who are targeting, especially, who are sponsored by states. That means different countries are sponsoring these criminal groups. And these groups will work with each other to launch attacks. Something what you saw in the initial slides. They work with each other, they help each other, they share their knowledge, they share their tools and weapons, they share their people, they share their expertise, they share their money as well. These groups are connected to each other. And they will attack you in multiple ways. These are some of the various cyber attacks, technical terms, how they launch attacks. It may be coming to you in the form of a small SMS telling that 2,000 rupees credited into your account. Click here to claim your amount. When you click on that link, automatically what happens? Somebody will in the background install a small virus into your mobile that will consume all of your photographs, images, SMSs, phone banking, passwords. Everything will be taken, and you will be losing the money. So there are hundreds of examples. Some people nowadays coming to the video calls, and you see, I think a lot of cases are now getting registered that people come to the video call in a naked form and then blackmail you. Some people will send a QR code to tell you that, okay, scan this QR code to claim your gift. You'll all fall into this victims. These are all methodologies how they launch attacks. And you will see in the future that restaurants or retail shops are getting closed because of a cyber attack, not because of they don't have power, or they don't have the groceries in their store. Just because of a cyber attack, they may be closing their shops. And the future, it is going to be biometric authenticated world. And you will see these biometrics also will be getting breached. Now, 3D printing. So your own fingerprints can be breached using a 3D printed fingerprint. So 3D printing can be used to even create fake facial recognitions. And there are cases already happening. And your own voice can be modulated or even recreated using deepfake. There's already a case registered in the European region that one group company's chairman called one of the subsidiary company CEO and saying that that chairman is stranded somewhere and he needs some urgent money. And then the subsidiary company CEO asking his CFO to transfer so much of millions of dollars to this chairman. Eventually, they realized that it is not the chairman. Somebody artificially created the chairman's voice using deepfake and used for a financial crime. And that is where cyber crimes are going to be more relevant from a cybersecurity perspective. And you will see,
Philip, we have a time shortage, so I would, yeah, please go ahead, sir. I just gave you a small soft here.
Pilots,
yeah, absolutely. So I'm at the last 2 slides of my session here. I just want to play a small video just to conclude the session to show you how the future can be really interesting as well as scary for us if you don't manage it properly. Just want a small video here to show you how this AI powered systems can be breached potentially.
Former pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people. People do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions. Now, trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped.
Yeah, Mr. Philip, can we?
Now, I said,
please,
Yep. So what you're seeing is actually, a drone that is powered by AI capturing the criminals. Now imagine if those drones can be hijacked by cyber criminals, then it can be used against each one of us, right? With a precision. So that is the world that we are getting into. So I personally believe that if there is a World War III, that would be a cyber war, right? And that is where the topic was also chosen as a cyber warfare. It brings up a lot of opportunity to really, enhance our skills and build a build capabilities and teams that can really help organizations and nations to really protect its customers, its citizens, people, and the nation, right? So we all have a responsibility to make it safer and better. I hope the session was useful and relevant for all of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and happy to take any questions if you have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Philip. Please stay on. Please, yeah, you can stop sharing, and we would love to see you if you can come onto the screen so that we can talk to you, because we are still seeing you only the photograph. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen who are attending this presentation, most of us, I'm sure, are really frightened by whatever had been presented by Mr. Philip Varughese. At the outset, I must tell you that not to be that frightened, but okay, Philip has done his job to really scare you away. The world cannot be like this. I mean, if the world had been like this, we would have been killed by 1911, First World War and Second World War. But whatever he said really makes sense. That is what you must understand. Mr. Philip, I would love to hear from you, because all that thing that you have said is well taken, and well taken with a lot of scare within us. But would you tell us, what is how do we get out of this, or how do we not get into this, or what are the preventives of this? Will you please give us some input on this, please? That is, how not to have this happen.
So that's a very relevant and interesting question. So it is not very easy, but at the same time, we can definitely prevent it and defend it by doing some simple basic things. Okay.
Yeah.
So going back to basics and fundamentals are the key here. So we need to ensure that we use we use our data and information more responsibility, and it is our responsibility primarily, so that how do we use our connected systems, our data, our systems more carefully than earlier, right? So before we click on a link, before we open an attachment, before we send our data to somebody, we need to be double sure. Before we install applications, before we connect to various networks, for example, when we are seeing a free internet connection, we happily get connected to that, right? So we need to be very careful before we get into these activities. From a layman's point of view, ensuring the fundamental and simple things are the key here, right? So if you're using a Wi-Fi connection in your home, please ensure that you have a strong password there. You should not click on any emails or open any attachments or links if you don't know the sender, who it is. You need to have very strong passwords for all of your accounts. Simple thing. And if you are having a bank account, please ensure that you're enabling your OTPs, multi-factor authentication, we call it as OTPs, in your transactions and key accounts. Strong password. You need to change your passwords very regularly, for that matter. Avoid any suspicious downloads, and also browse only that is very genuine and relevant. And the most and fundamental thing is, actually, we are living in a world where we cannot trust anybody. So there is a principle called zero trust, a zero trust model. So you cannot trust anybody. I think I have shown you a number of examples that we cannot trust the video of an Omaba's video, right? So zero trust. Ensure that the information and the people, assets, and the systems are genuine and valid before we engage with them. So have a cautious mind. If the criminal is 2 feet ahead with intelligence, now we should be 3 feet ahead ahead of him with curiosity and caution. And by that way only we will be able to ensure that.
My second question is, you are a consultant, you work for such a prestigious organization, and I'm sure lots of people come to you to consult you against the cyber attacks and hacking, etc., that happen. So what are the solutions that you tell them? You said to us that your basics, checks and balances, etc., that is SOPs, all that is right. But then how do we proactively consult people, telling that not to get into this?
The traditional way, as I mentioned right from the beginning of the call itself, it has been, for many of the organizations, cybersecurity has been seen as a technical task.
Yes.
Of an IT team. But that is getting changed, and that has to be changed. Today, it has to be a board level agenda, right?
Yes.
And so earlier, it has been seen mostly in a reactive way. If something happens, let me see at that point of time. Now, that has to be changed to more of a proactive defense model. That means
Yes.
we should be patients to enable this proactive defense. It may be a simple
Yeah.
password, maybe a data backup, maybe best practices even in a browsing. The most important thing is the weakest link is nothing but people. People like
That's
you
right.
and me. Every organization, people, right? How do we enable these people with awareness? So creating awareness is one of the most important things. And that is where training and awareness programs will help the organizations to increase the cyber defense beyond the
So
tools and
these days,
technologies.
is there organizations and corporates doing it to its employees and customers, or you still think that there is a lot to go?
There is a lot to go, because even from a private organization's point of view, now, as I mentioned, the impact is directly evident. They will have the impact in terms of financial loss or reputation damage, share value drop, or even operational disruption. So they know their damage very evidently, and it will directly impact their P&L and balance sheet. So they are having more seriousness. But from a government point of view, so far it has been seen as a national security aspect. But now governments are coming up with more regulatory frameworks for compliance and legal frameworks to ensure that these infrastructure, these corporates are very relevant for their economic sustenance. And that is where, GDPR, for example, a new regulation coming into European region to protect its consumer data. HIPAA, high trust, PCI compliance. There are so many regulatory compliances are coming into the system to ensure that both governments, organizations, and corporates to ensure they are cyber ready.
Yeah, so what you are saying is that though you have shown us and frightened with all these calamities that could happen, there are also proactively governments and organizations, companies and corporates and individuals are also now putting checks and balances and SOPs and systems and processes to see that this doesn't happen, isn't it?
This has started, I would say, based on my personal experience, I can say everyone is starting to get into the journey. But at the same time, if you look at the cyber defense, it is like national security. It is like that it is not a destination. So once you implement some 20 policies and 50 tools, you cannot rest. It is a journey.
And
there
it's
is
a
no
continuum.
destination.
It's a continuum. It's a continuum. You need, as you rightly said, somewhere in the middle, that if they are 2 feet behind us, and we need to be 3 feet ahead of them, isn't it? Something like that.
Exactly, because you are seeing, earlier we have seen very traditional systems. Today we are seeing AI. After AI, you have blockchain. After blockchain, you are having quantum computing. After quantum computing, you are experiencing extended reality. A lot of new exponential technologies are coming together.
Yes.
Now that is exactly where you need to have more sophisticated systems to be in place to ensure these are defended and protected.
At the same time, Mr. Philip, this is other. If I actually take your perspective to somewhere else, now we understand there are countries of the world who have large people. They have recruited large techie, geek, nerdy people to spy upon other countries and other nations and hack them and do all sort of challenges. And one of the reasons that we are generally scared of China or Israel or North Korea or to extent Pakistan, etc., is because they have very strong this destroyal capabilities, which is sponsored by the state, isn't it?
Definitely, that is what I mentioned in one of the slides. Nation state sponsored attacks. So there are cyber armies, developed by many countries. I think every country has their own cyber army and the capability. So these armies are primarily either they will buy data from the dark web, or they themselves will get into the networks and the systems of the other countries. And even there are claims, or even there are newses coming out that some of the larger companies the devices, for example, laptops, mobiles, are etc., having spying chips installed by China. That means, for example, some of the mobile phones we use, some of the laptops we use, irrespective of the country that you are using, even without the knowledge of the actual brand owner, whether it's Dell or IBM or anything, these companies can infiltrate smart chips into these devices, which can spy on you.
That's right.
And
so it could be corporate sponsored, or it could be country sponsored. That's what you're saying. One of the reasons that India has now rejected Huawei's application for the 5G is one of them. Don't you think so?
That could be one of the potential scenarios, because it is government. I don't want to specifically comment on that without having solid evidences against it. But but most of the countries are taking precautions to engage opposition countries or opponent countries. Specific devices like either 5G or smart devices could be one of these.
I understand. I mean, definitely nationalism being at the peak of things with most of the nations, they are all trying with their own might and technological backups actually. So now I was actually trying to go through the chat box to see if there are any questions. Some of the questions are, yeah, there's a question telling that where I can learn all these things, like, is there a tutorial college where I can go and learn and get things organized? What do you suggest on that, Mr. Phil?
So just like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity is also a big ocean. There are thousands of subdomains under this area. It's a big ocean. But what I encourage, rather than learning all these things, practicing some of the basics when we engage with these kind of systems at our levels.
So you're saying going back to the basics, that is, protecting your own assets, isn't it?
Exactly. Having
there was a question. There was a question somebody had asked saying that, what about cyber security in aviation? So do you have something to say on that?
So I would like to generalize that, because irrespective of, I think throughout my presentation, I've shown you hundreds of examples, including aviation, where cybersecurity is very relevant, right? So today you are having unmanned aerial vehicles, right? F-16 flights, whether it is completely flown by AI systems, vulnerable to be hacked. At the same time, micro flights, right? Or like a drone, right? So anything and everything can be hacked today, unless otherwise if you don't protect it with the sophisticated systems. So it can be used for hijacking. It can be used for bombing places. It can be used for smuggling. It can be used for many, many other purposes. It can be used for surveillance.
So you say that, we can look at AI, machine learning, etc., from the perspective of benefiting the society, as well as from the perspective of destroying the society. Destroying, what I meant is, ransoms and killings and all those things that you have cited. So, but then there is always something called altruism in man. Human being so far has grown and come to this close to 80 billion in population by helping each other, either within or outside, externally as well as internally. So do you think that, okay, one day will come where everybody will try to attack each other and die, or there will be systems that could be taken, there could be ways to get out of this and then peacefully, mutually, beneficially coexist with technology?
I think that is where we should look at this beyond technology. That is where security is becoming a shared responsibility, rather than whether it is in a corporate or a government or in a group of countries. It becomes a shared responsibility. Especially the countries will align based on their economic and political interests. But eventually, that is exactly where you see some of the countries helping each other with their intelligence and coming together as a shared responsibility.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phelps. Actually, you have been speaking for close to about 60 minutes continuously, and that, so we should really applaud your energy and the sort of conviction that you have on the subject. But I must definitely tell you that you have scared us enough. So this is like, talking to allowing a cardiologist to come and take a class session in your club, by the end of which everybody was having palpitation. So something like that, so I would, therefore, I'm saying that the scare is enough. The scare is real. The scare is sufficient, but we have to get over with this, and with as you rightly said, about going back to our basics, systems and processes, SOPs, checks and balances, and seeing that certain behaviors have to be incorporated in our online performances, online acts, and things like that. One element that you have said somewhere in between, which I have now borrowed to conclude my moderation, that is, integrate cyber security, cyber risk management as part of your management decision, as part of your organization and personal management aspect. So once you integrate the cyber risk as part of the organization, that as part of the collective thinking of the organization, not leaving it to the IT party or the technologist alone, it should be the right way. And I'm sure there's a lot of areas and companies and places where this is actually coming into being. In between, actually, I was actually having a small inside conversation with Sachin Chowdhury, who is actually a director at Cognizant at Hyderabad. He was also telling that he is getting scared in spite of the fact that he's a company's director, and he said that checks and balances should be able to take care of it. So, of course, though we are a little scared with all the presentation, I should say that it is real, and checks and balances, systems and processes, SOPs, and knowing that, okay, this is going to happen, so we should be proactive. That is something that we should live with. I'm putting you back to our chairman, Mr. Professor Zakaria, please. Professor, all yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Philip, if you could come on screen, it would have been better. People could at least see you at least once.
He tried once, but he was in an inverted form. So again, he went back on that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think for Masalas, the background light is not
Yeah.
that clear here.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Let us.
It was an amazing presentation with a lot of real examples. So far, we all worried about our individual concerns regarding this cyber security. But as SR sir said, we are really scared. Now we are we know not only individuals, corporates, companies, nations, everyone is under threat, right? And the intensity of the threat, that is also very visible with the videos that you have shown to us. It was an amazing presentation with a large number of potential and real examples. Thank you very much, Mr. Philip Varughese. And SR could really convince us with right questions and getting more from Mr. Philip towards the end. We have some guests who joined with our presentation. We had our National Vice President, Mr. Kurian Daniel, our NC member from Hyderabad, Sachin Chowdhury. We acknowledge their presence and thanking them for being part of this event. With these words, I request Nirmala ma'am to formally give away the vote of thanks.
Thank you, President. I am petrified. Nothing is coming out.
Don't use your mobile. No, don't use your mobile any longer. Use your old telephone to talk to us.
Seriously, sir. Okay, thank you, Mr. Philip Varughese. Absolutely, it is indeed, though it is scary, lot of information, valuable and relevant in today's scenario. And you are indeed very generous in sharing knowledge. A lot of case studies, examples, data, and videos. Spoke to us, our cyber security is a big ocean. Why cyber is important global perspective. You spoke a lot about the financial crimes, threat, unknown defense, cyber, then that case studies, and 3,000 attacked in 39 seconds or in a minute. And then the companies were attacked. So many things, a lot of informations. And I'm sure those who are sitting here will be very, very careful of doing anything. And the data disruption, destruction, operations, so and so lot, and the AI, all the videos and all this we will never forget. And we will always think about little scare. And I'm sure that all of us will be very, very careful. And then cyber security, cyber crime, cyber attack beyond our imagination, unknown, known threat, defense, buying everything is will remember. And thank you for this knowledge. And the third war, if there is going to be, that is going to be the cyber attack. And our unbeatable moderator pacified us, asking questions related to solutions. That is indeed nice. And Mr. Philip also given a lot of relevant solutions, like very basic, how you should be careful about seeing a link and opening when there is something free and all, that you shouldn't go for it. You should see what it is, and the password, changing passwords, etc. So it's everything. Also, it is a very brilliant information package that you are present to us. And thank you so very much, Mr. Philip, for your presence and about all your valuable sharing of information. And yes, our moderator, I have already mentioned, he is
accepted. Go ahead, madam. That is okay. Don't thank too much,
Okay, and then I have already our president, our chairman said that we have got our national council members presence, and I acknowledge and thank you very much for your presence, and all the members of management committee, all the members of our ISTD Kochi chapter and other chapters, and all distributed guests. A big thank you, and have a good night. Back to you, President.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate the kind words and the wonderful opportunity extended. Looking forward to connect with all of you. As I mentioned, probably just to conclude my overall thing, my intention was not to scare you, but to make you aware, point number one. And the second one is, as I mentioned, it's very simple. Zero trust. Don't trust anyone.
Who
back to
trust
basics.
anyone?
Yeah, back to basics and foundations. Point number
Problem
2.
is that now we started doubting whether Philip is presenting or someone else is presenting.
Because he is not